Guys, hello and welcome to the Liberian TV Network. We are right here at the Ministry of Information, Culture and Tourism, where Honorable requesting feedback on will be addressing the press or very soon regarding some operation at the ministry. I'm Francis Kidikapo coming to you live.
Culture and Tourism and dedicated team. And I was joined here today by my team of deputies and some other colleagues from the Ministry of Finance. I have the Deputy Minister for Fiscal Affairs, Honorable Anthony G. Myers, the Deputy Minister for Budget and Planning, Honorable Tanette Bronson, Deputy Minister for Administration, Honorable Bill McGill Jones, the Senior Program Advisor in the Office of the Minister, Mr. Babasila, one of the veterans from the Ministry of Information. Honorable Acting Minister, Deputies and Assistant Ministers present, members of the press, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Let me begin by extending heartfelt gratitude to the leadership and team at the Ministry of Information for this invitation. The last time I was a guest in this Charles Graham Memorial Conference Hall was during the height of the Ebola crisis in 2014. At the time, I came in my capacity as Minister of Foreign Affairs of Liberia to speak against the mounting wave of stigmatization of Liberians across the globe on account of the Ebola crisis and actions that the government was taking to address the situation. Today, I've come here in the same Charles Graham Conference Hall to talk about a much more optimistic subject, the draft budget for fiscal year 2025 that spans January 1, 2025 to December 31, 2025. Fellow Liberians and friends of Liberia, as you may know by now, on yesterday, November 18, 2024, our President, His Excellency Joseph Newman Boakai, submitted the draft national budget for fiscal year 2025 to the legislature to commence a significant process of review and approval of the budget. The submission was done pursuant to Section 17.1 of the 2019 Amendment and Restatement of the Public Financial Management Act of 2009. The total revenue envelope of the draft national budget for fiscal 2025 is projected at $851.8 million United States dollars, comprising core revenue of $833 million United States dollars, or 97.8%, and contingent revenue of $18.8 million United States dollars, or 2.2%. Of this amount, domestic revenue constitutes $791.76 million United States dollars, or 93% of the total revenue. This includes tax revenue of $633.72 million United States dollars, or 80%, a non-tax revenue of 138.5 million United States dollars, or 17.4%. External resources amount to 60 million United States dollars, or 7% of the total revenue envelope. To be sourced from the World Bank, 40 million United States dollars, and the European Union, 20 million United States dollars. This represents a 50% increase in external resources from 2024. In the FY 2025 draft national budget, we are projecting an increase of 15.3% over the fiscal year 2024 recast budget of $738.9 million United States dollars. The increase in the resource envelope is attributed to the steadier performance of domestic revenue, especially taxes on income and profits, goods and services, and international trade. The Liberian economy is projected to grow by 5.8% in 2025, up from a forecast of 5.1% in 2024. The 2025 projections are based on strong performances in the mining and mining sector, 8.5%, the manufacturing sector, 6.9%, the agricultural and fishery sector, 5.2%, and the services sector, 5%. The top two contributors to GDP in 2025 will be the services sector with 38% and the agriculture and fisheries sector with 29%. The rest will be mining and mining of 19.2%, forestry at about 8%, and manufacturing at 6%. The growth forecast for the period of the arrest agenda, 2025 to 2029, remains promising, with an average growth rate of 5.9%. This upward performance will be influenced by investments in public sector projects and the mineral sector, supported by structural reforms in key sectors such as energy, trade, transportation, and financial services. Members of the press, fellow Liberians, under the visionary guidance and leadership of His Excellency, the President, this administration is making significant strides through deliberate actions to invest in programs that have real impacts on the current and future well-being of our people. Consequently, in this proposed budget, we are increasing the proportion of public sector investment program expenditure, that is the PSRP expenditure, from 67.4 million in FY 2024 to 98 million in FY 2025. This could be supplemented by an additional 6 million if in the contingent budget, when the contingent revenue is accordingly realized. The growth in PSRP expenditure represents a 54% increase. As a result, the ratio of PSRP expenditure to the overall budget will expand from 9% in 2024 to 12% in 2025. It is 6% of PSRP allocations totaling 87 million is dedicated to multi-sector projects under the Arrest Agenda for Inclusive Development, the AAID. The government's development plan for 2025-2029, which we are set to launch in the next few weeks. The allocations for the arrest specific PSRP projects are meant to initiate projects and programs for the first year of the National Development Plan. Let me say the allocations in the arrest agenda and rest of the PSRP only supplements the normal allocations in the sector ministries and agencies. In agriculture, we have allocated 7 million under the PSRP for the first year of the arrest agenda to robustly fund critical interventions in agriculture value chain programs. This will enable acceleration of research, increase extension services to producers, and commence the drive towards value addition in the form of processing, storage, and distribution. In order to unlock the economy, we must build more roads and other infrastructure, opening access to other parts of the country. To this end, we have allocated $52.9 million United States dollars, including $37.6 million United States dollars for the rehabilitation of major roads. This will encompass the rehabilitation of rural roads and the construction of data bridges across the country. Also included in the envelope is counterpart funding for ongoing works on key road corridors, such as the Sakle-Pie-Zwedu segment of the Sea Crown project, the Sanikwele-Lugatuo Highway, and the Salaye-Biam Town section of the Banga-Menikoma Highway. An additional US $15 million United States dollars has been set aside for other infrastructure improvements and the Pliable Roads program launched earlier this year by the government to ensure that all major road corridors in the country are pliable. In education, we have allocated $7 million for PSRP projects, of which $4 million is for the renovation and expansion of the school facilities operated by the Ministry of Education, the Monrovia Consolidated School System, and others. Funds we have also allocated funds to ensure that the digital transformation program, which is set to continue for 2025, will continue seamlessly. Also, strengthening school feeding to provide nutrition and set children on the path of healthier school life, and support agricultural outputs through the procurement of locally grown food products. We've allocated funds also for that. Rule of law, a total of $4.4 million has been proposed for various projects, including the ongoing renovation of military housing and to commence renovation works on the barracks of the Liberian National Police located on Hunting Avenue in Monrovia. The anti-drug program, the Push Must Go, counterpart funding for the proposed new Temple of Justice complex. In sanitation and health, we are proposing under the PSRP to spend $14 million United States dollars for major projects, including drug revolving funds at community pharmacies, electricity and capacity expansion of the John F. Kennedy Memorial Hospital, reconstruction of C.H. Brenning Hospital in Magibi County, the Jackson F. Dole Memorial Hospital in Nimba County, from a regional referral hospital to a national referral hospital. Also included are allocations for basic urban sanitation under the Clean Cities campaign in Monrovia and Pinsville cities, the landfill project in Cheesemanburg, etc. And in tourism, we are seeking legislation to create an autonomous tourism board. Hence, we propose $500,000 United States dollars, both in the core and contingent expenditure categories of the budget for various interventions, including the development of plans and marketing strategies for the tourism sector to enable us to leverage our vast tourism potential. Members of the press, fellow Liberians, in the draft budget for fiscal 2025, President Joseph Numa Boakai has authorized the allocation of more than 16 million United States dollars to fund the first set of measures in a multi-year effort aimed at addressing some of the remuneration concerns and challenges in the public sector. First, we have allocated funds to ensure that beginning January 2025, no central government employee earning monthly salaries below the US $150 minimum as provided for in the Decent Work Act of 2015 will receive less than, no government employee in such category will receive less than $150 as monthly gross salary. Second, we've allocated US $2.6 billion in the FY 2025 budget to enable the Ministries of Health and Education to begin the multi-year process of addressing the perennial issue of volunteer workers after an exhaustive and thorough vetting exercise is conducted by the two ministries in conjunction with the CSA and the Ministry of Finance. We recognize that the cost to fully put all volunteer workers on the payroll is very high, hovering around $15 million, which the government cannot fully afford in FY 2025, given the competing demands on the fiscal space. Third effort on this path, we have allocated nearly $3 million United States dollars in the draft budget for 2025 to ensure that beginning January 2025, nearly 2,000 teachers with C certificates, B certificates, associate and bachelor's degrees who are currently being paid below their respective pay grades will receive salaries commensurate with their qualifications. Fourth, we have allocated funds in the draft FY 2025 budget to add at least $225 beginning January 2025 to the salaries of specialist doctors in the health sector who are being paid below their pay grades as the first action in the direction of fully regularizing their pay. The fifth measure in our set of one-year actions, year one action rather, is to adjust the salaries of additional number of employees. This measure will ensure, when approved, will result in a monthly salary increase of between $25 and $50 for various categories of employees. Nurses, midwives, and physician assistants will receive 50 United States dollar salary top-ups per month, while other health workers will receive between $25 to $40 based on their levels. Other government employees in the agriculture and security sectors, including AFS soldiers, EPS, and police officers, agriculture extension workers, will also benefit from monthly salary top-ups, ranging from between $30 to $40 per month. In sum, about 28,200 government employees representing 45% of the government workforce are set to benefit from various forms of salary top-ups in fiscal year 2025. When this proposal from the President is approved by the Honorable Liberian Legislature. The sixth and final part of the 2025 income support strategy entails implementing the provision of the National Security Act of 2015, which mandates the government of Liberia to cover the insurance costs for all active duty police officers. In the first ever implementation of this law, over 5,000 members of the Liberian National Police will be provided with insurance coverage fully funded by the government of Liberia beginning January 2025. This initiative is expected to offer additional support to these dedicated individuals who continue to sacrifice for our collective security under challenging conditions. Members of the press, fellow Liberians, as good as our spending ambitions for 2025 are, we need to raise the projected revenue to actualize the spending ambitions to support critical interventions and sectors, including the health and education sectors. Raising the projected revenue will, in some instances, not be a walk in the park. It will require a host of revenue-enhancing measures, as well as rigorous, scrupulous, and honest enforcement by the Liberia Revenue Authority and other revenue collection institutions of government. It will also require the full support of all branches, the institutions of government, as well as the full cooperation of taxpayers. Members of the press, fellow Liberians, the 2025 budget of $851.8 billion represents an increase of $12.9 million United States dollars, or 15.3% over this year's budget. As significant as this jump may seem, we are the first to concede that it does not address all the development ambitions and challenges of spending entities in our people, especially considering the fact that the resource requests for 2025 of spending entities amount to roughly $2 billion United States dollars. So, the allocations we have made in the 2025 budget should be seen largely as a significant step in a multi-year journey to address the development ambitions and challenges of our country and people. In subsequent years, the government intends to do more so that every succeeding year will be better than the previous year. Finally, I want to use this opportunity to lift thanks to the hard-working team of deputy and assistant ministers, directors, analysts, and technicians, as well as support staff of the Ministry of Finance and Development Planning for the time and effort put in the budget preparation process. I also want to thank the Commissioner General of the LRA and his team, the Director General of the CSA and his team, and other heads of government institutions and their teams, and partners who work closely with us in the budget preparation process. For the past 3 weeks, the budget preparation team of government, members of the budget preparation team of government have been holed up at the Ministry of Finance for long hours, sometimes up to 2 a.m. in the morning, working on the budget. For nearly 3 weeks, these dedicated employees of government have had no holidays or weekends, because as we jokingly say, for the past 3 weeks, our weeks do not end. For nearly 3 weeks, it has been difficult for these dedicated employees of government to answer the calls of loved ones and friends, because they have been attending to the nation's call. On behalf of President Joseph Juma Boakai, I want to say thanks to everyone for putting country first above all else. Lastly, I want to extend our profound thanks and gratitude to President Boakai for the support and guidance given to us throughout the budget preparation process. The President has been insistent that we think Liberia, love Liberia, and build Liberia. The draft 2025 budget encapsulates President Boakai's and the government's intention to do just that. Before I recede to my seat, I want to state that one of our firm commitments to transform the Ministry of Finance is to ensure that all employees of government receive their salaries before the end of the month. We have therefore taken actions, including re-engineering business processes to make that happen. Our commitment is that, barring unavoidable technical and exogenous circumstances and challenges, all government employees will be paid on or before the 24th of the month. Beginning this month, we have begun the full rollout of this new re-engineered payment process. I'm therefore pleased to report that payment of government employees for the month of November 2024 began on Friday, November 15, and that the salary accounts of employees of government and upwards of 40 government spending entities have already been credited. And we'll continue to, and we'll monitor to ensure that our October 24th deadline for all employees, and we mean all employees, to be paid will be met by the team. Mr. Acting Minister of Information, your team and colleagues, members of the press, thanks a million for this opportunity.
Guys, that was the voice of Honorable Ekoseke Kapon, Minister of Finance and Government Planning, and Princess Kediko coming to you live. I want to say thank you for following this press conference.